Now for the real deal New England feel.
I went off the rails. I might so down and be ashamed of myself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here with his Maine shirt on, sweatshirt on, with whatever that animal
over here, Joe.
there is.
Well, it's a moose. It's the Maine moose.
Yeah. Well, Mark, and Joe's with us in the booth. And if Joe, open up your camera. You can see what he's wearing.
Joe's dressed like there's a blizzard coming.
He is.
Look at Joe. It's like a blizzard.
You know what I mean?
He looks like he's shoveling snow right now.
Joe, we all can't wear short sleeve T-shirts and shorts.
I know.
You know
Seriously.
what I mean,
Yes. But all of you out there, get cozy and warm and all of that, watching us on YouTube, listening to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anyway, podcast. When you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, give us that thumbs up, hit the like button. There it is. And leave us a comment. And, of course, you can email us on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com, or give us a call on Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line, 24/7. Leave us a message. Have a take. Joe, how come you haven't played one in a while? What's the story? Nobody calling?
Nothing good. Everybody's calling and right
swearing. This is why.
Not a lot of calls have been come in, or they're garbled gook, and I can't play it.
Well, no garbled gook, and no.
I'm sure they're dropping 4-letter words.
Yeah, that's the other problem too.
That part I don't mind. Actually, but, you know.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, listen, I'm doing good. We're 6-2, brother. I predicted it.
Yeah, you predicted your ass. That's what you predicted. You know? No, we are 6-2.
Original predictions for some reason.
No, you were close to your original prediction, Joe.
I know.
Joe, the optimist, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of optimism. But we're going to talk about that in Weekly Rewind today. And, of course, Catone's comments. We never know what he's bringing to the table. The holidays are coming, so who the hell knows what he's going to talk about.
Please, you don't want to
know. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, we have to talk about the Bruins and the Celtics in B's and C's. So stick around for that. But first, we want to get into this Patriots. We're going to talk about this 6-2 Patriots team and the week that was against the Cleveland Browns. We're going to do it in Weekly Rewind right now. Going back through the week. About a Weekly Rewind.
Mike Vrabel got a 3-touchdown performance from his quarterback in the third quarter. 5 sacks for Myles Garrett. Drake Maye outstanding. And the Patriots on the way to 6-2. And in the final moments, thanks for joining us, Mike Vrabel. You talk about a turnaround, what he's done in 8 games. 6-2 atop of the AFC East, and they've won 5 straight.
And that, of course, was the CBS broadcast of the game. Who the hell was doing that? Schlereth and somebody else. I don't know.
Oh, they got. I mean, maybe now that we're playing better and everyone's talking about the Patriots, we won't get like the D and F team doing the games.
Yeah, we can actually see some of the bad calls being made by showing replays
like
every
so
often.
Bad,
but
right?
the Patriots win that game 32-13. How was the game, Mark?
Oh, it was good. Weather was nice. It was good. Perfect day for football. It was nice. Good crowd.
You sent me a picture of
the statue, because last game we went to, we got there a little late. You couldn't get anywhere near it, but this time we got there early, waited in line, so we get a picture.
You look like an ant standing next to it.
That thing's massive, Chris. It's massive.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. So, okay, 32-13, they win. They go to 6-2. Let's start with the offense a little bit. Talk about that. And of course, who we have to begin with? We have to begin with Drake Maye.
Drake was sacked 6 times today, but still finishes with 280 and 3 touchdowns. Just how impressed were you with his resolve as this game went on?
Well, everybody's resolve, and again, would like to have the sacks, but again, we got to get the ball out on time and understand who it is that we're dealing with, and but I don't think that as long as we're keeping them clean and not some vicious hits. We have to be able to be better in that regard, but I think when we give them time to throw, it's pretty good, and it's good to see us hit a couple X plays.
Pretty good.
And but we knew that it was going to be a challenge. with this front, and then the way that they played, and certainly with Myles Garrett and committing 2 people to him and him still, affecting the quarterback is obviously impressive.
So, of course, was Mike Vrabel, talking about his quarterback, not giving him too much love. What'd you make of his game, Mark? Drake Maye.
So let me say this, Chris. As a whole, the offense, I think, was only 3 for 11 on third down, Chris.
They were. You are correct.
Right? They had an interception. He had an interception. They had a turnover at the goal line.
He put the ball on the ground, too.
He got strip sacked. They recovered it. So it wasn't a perfect game by any means. And I think that's why Brady's not Belichick. Yeah, Belichick, Brady. Wow, my loss today.
That's You're why in Maine over there.
I'm in Maine. That's why Vrabel isn't giving out too many accolades, I don't think, because, May played well, Chris. I will say this. Despite all of that, he does take them on a drive at the end of the first half to go up 9-6. They get the field goal. The one thing I was impressed with, Chris, in this game, he was under duress, under pressure. He settled in the third quarter, Chris. You look at, he spread the ball around. Booty, Diggs, Hollins, Henry, screen passes out of the backfield. I think even Douglas. Like, Chris, he went through his progressions, found open guys, worked within what he was supposed to work with, didn't panic. I mean, he's really, I'm going to say this, Chris, a firm grasp of what McDaniels' offense is, believe it or not. I know we talked about, how much is McDaniels going to give him? Is he going to fill that? What was McDaniels talking about at the beginning?
Filling the buckets, filling the cups.
Buckets. Well, let me tell you something. He's filling the bucket and he's filling the cup because each week, Chris, it seems like, and based on his spreading of the ball out, it was almost Brady-esque. Like, he's getting the understanding now of that offense. So in the second half, May had an excellent second half, Chris.
He threw the ball to seven different guys again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But to your point, I mean, he was 10 of 16 in the first half for 139 yards. Not fantastic. He looked sped up with that pressure. And we'll get to Garrett in a minute. But he did look sped up. Now, here's how I look at that. Yes, he overcame it. He had to overcome it on his, out there on the field. But I think he got a lot of help in this game. Look, there were times, and you were there, so sometimes it's easier when you're there to see this. So tell me if I'm wrong. But it looked to me like he bailed out a little bit too much. His eyes started going down a little bit in that first half versus up and keeping him downfield. And it looked like there may have been a couple of guys that he could have had that he chose not to, or, get out of there, whatever it was.
No, he did. There was a couple of plays where if he just waited another second or two, and he probably could have, guys definitely did come open. One play in particular, Chris, I believe it was in the first half.
3rd and 23, the throw to Booty.
Yeah,
because if he's on target, it's a first down.
It's a first down. Yeah, and then there was another play where I believe it was Booty again. Booty runs free.
Yeah,
and he didn't give it the time to open up. It would have been a touchdown. The way May throws the deep ball, Booty would have had another touchdown. But May didn't wait long enough, Chris, for it to become open, and he could have.
Yeah, so I mean, look, there's still room for improvement. There's room for growth with this kid. I mean, he obviously he had a perfect second half. He did. But I think it was I think it was thanks to this guy.
Talk about whose offense it is, and Mike Vrabel can mention Ashton Davis like all he wants, but Ashton Davis barely has any experience with the quarterbacks in this league before he got here. He was a young developmental coach when he got here. That's his role. But the job that Josh McDaniels has done with this offense with Drake Maye, you'd have to be an idiot not to give him a lot of compliments about what we've seen to this point.
his demeanor in halftime was, he could tell that, he was calming us down and knew that we were good. And, just classic, Coach McDaniels drive. I mean, he's just, dialing it up and, multiple times and getting guys open and really making it easy for me. So, he's done his whole life and, I feel like he's, put on the surf to be an offensive coordinator. So it's fun to, be in the headset with him.
So having played that, let me jump in with this question real quick because their slow start, all right, they have a consistent slow start lately. And I'm always wondering whether or not that's McDaniels or the team itself. And now just hearing that, I feel like it's McDaniels who because when Brady was in town, they also had a sort of slow start too.
He's right.
And so is it McDaniels? I'm now seeing it's McDaniels is the pattern here.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's McDaniels is very much a feel out kind of OC. Like, he sees the game as it's progressing and he sees, some of the deficiencies you may have right off the bat. And now he's adjusting to that, I think they answer your question, Joe. So yeah. And I think they just, but what he did in the second half, what he did in the first drive of the third quarter, Mark, okay, McDaniels, I'm talking about now. Those pitches, the recognition of getting it to the edge, getting Henderson out in space, understanding what the offensive line was dealing with Garrett and company, and being able to just get around that at that point, including the touchdown throw to Hunter Henry, where that's a boot, play action boot, and Henry comes open, and that's the weak side of the field. The strength was on the other side. So you can't deny what this guy did as an OC in the third quarter of this game, Mark.
No, you can't. No, absolutely not. You got to give him credit for that. He did a really good job with that in the second half. And the other thing, Chris, is this. So building off on what Joe had said, though, I will say this. From week to week, last year, Chris, Van Pelt, I think, did a decent job fixing some of the mechanical things that were wrong with May. However, it was a very vanilla type of playbook from week to week to week. I think at the very beginning of the season, it was a little vanilla with McDaniels, but he now trusts May and his understanding and the fact that May, I think, can grasp and absorb things and consume information quickly.
Yeah.
He's starting to get back to, Chris, McDaniels, is that it's a different game plan every week. It's like he used to do with Brady. It's not like, here's our base offense, we're running it every week. It's a game plan specific offense, which I don't think it was the first couple of weeks. Not every team in the league does that, and you know that, Chris, and you can speak to why, right? And in fact, not only is it game specific offense, it's also half to half, which he adjusts and switches things up in the second half. And you have to have a quarterback, Chris, who's able to understand that, intelligent enough to understand it, grasp it, and really have a firm grasp of the playbook in order to do that. So May, Chris, what I know, yes, Josh has done a great job with him, and you got to give Josh a ton of credit. But I don't know if people quite realize that what May is doing, Chris, and how he's absorbing all of this from week to week. Do you know what I mean?
They went from 30th in the league in offense, points per game, to 7th. Like that's I don't understand.
Listen, I know the naysayers are going to say, yeah, well, they're playing nobody. But listen, you look around the league, Chris, who does have a tough schedule? There are so many bad teams out there. Like, I don't know if anybody you could say, oh, wow, they got a tough schedule. Everybody's got cream puffs on their schedule, Chris, because there's a lot of bad teams in this league.
Right.
So I don't want to hear that anymore necessarily. Is our schedule a little easier than others? Perhaps. But listen, a lot of teams, Chris, are playing cupcakes because the league is not that strong this year.
And if you want to say, okay, Super Bowl contender, now
Maybe
you
that's a
can
stretch.
talk about the schedule. Now you can talk about the schedule and say, well, you know, they're not really there because of that and the blah blah and all that. But you know, it's not their fault. So okay. So if we both agree, because I want to talk about the offensive line just for a minute, but if we both agree that McDaniels had a great game, then why the hell are we keep hearing things like this?
I'm excited where everybody is offensively and kind of, you know, being able to collaborate and come together, provide ideas, allow Josh and, you know, to kind of figure out what he wants to do each and every week, whether that's the run game or play pass, movement series, screens, drop back passes. So I like where that's at. And then I think as far as, you know, the play calling, that's just a feel. That's an understanding of, you know, what we need, where they're at, what they're trying to do. Trying to marry some concepts together with some of their run actions, and you know, I think he's done a great job. To your question, I like where we are offensively, the collaboration, the communication, the efficiency to put the game plan together.
That's what I'm saying.
And then Josh's ability to marry off different concepts that we have.
So why the hell is Vrabel just like, why is it necessary for him to just continue to keep putting these other guys in where they don't belong?
I don't know, Chris. I don't know what the issue is.
Okay, fine. You didn't hire the guy. Like, it's not it wasn't your guy.
I get
but
it.
like, he's clearly doing a lot. I mean, he's clearly doing a fantastic job. So just end it there. Like, instead of having a 2-minute stupid elongated boy, he talks forever though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, you think he's out thinking the box again? Do you think he's out thinking the room where he's basically saying, I don't want this guy plucked from me next year, so I'm going to make it sound like it's a collaboration and it isn't just him? You think he's thinking that far? And I haven't heard anyone say that. Everyone just mocks it. Well, it was Kraft's pick, not his. So that's why you're hearing the things you're hearing.
I'm going to say this, Chris. Is he thinking that far ahead? Jesus.
We're giving him credit for doing that with free agents.
Well,
in the culture.
At first we didn't give him credit for that, Chris. And then I think as time is going on, you and I are like, okay, now we get it. We get what he's doing now. With McDaniels, maybe he is, Chris. I don't know. Maybe he is. Because what benefit is it to him other than I don't want him to get plucked? What benefit of it to the team, to Vrabel, to the organization?
Ego?
Yeah.
This is about me, not him. This is about my people. This is about my build.
All right, I guess. I
don't know. I mean, that's what's being floated around.
Yeah, maybe.
So okay, so it's just something to think about. But real quick on the offensive line, we'll break it 20. But at the offensive line, how much? Obviously, Garrett went off. 5 sacks. The dude is, I haven't seen a play like Reggie White since.
Chris, you had to watch it live. You had to watch him live. And I know everybody talks about Parsons. Garrett's the best defensive player in the NFL.
Agreed.
Chris, if you watched him, he's got multiple moves. He's fast.
Euro steps, he's calling them.
Euro step. Chris, he's just on another level. He's even on a level that, like I said, people love to talk about Parsons. He's on a level even above Parsons. He's just this kid. So I don't even know, Chris, if you can blame the offensive line.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you give Campbell any crap for this? Like, what do you,
Nah, Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. I watched Garrett. I don't know if there was a left tackle in the NFL that could have stopped him Sunday. He was just ready to roll and ready to go. But you brought up an interesting concept, Chris, about having the tight ends do a little bit of chipping and running backs chipping. And you brought up something interesting to me Sunday night when I got home from the game. Tell everyone what you were telling me about how sometimes it can screw the lineman up.
Well, we talked about this months ago when we were talking about him and the short arms and they're going to have to give him help. Remember, we discussed this on the show, and I talked about how you give help and listen to Skarnecki and how he talks about it. And offensive linemen, Greg Bedard talked about this too after the game. But you and I have been talking about this for a while. Offensive tackles do not like chip blocks. They don't like all that help, because when I say chip block, I mean like the running back coming up and giving a little shot at the defensive end, challenging them, taking them off his pass rush route, all that. You get a little chip from the tight end and then they release, tackles don't like that. And the reason they don't like it is because it's never consistent. It screws with your timing on your pass protection, how you kick to the edge, how you kick out, and how you engage with the defensive end that's coming. Because a lot of times you don't know exactly when the chip is going to happen. When is my back going to appear? Not only that, what's the gap? What's the split? The gap between my outside leg and that running back's inside leg. How far away is he from me? Because unless the running back is right hip to hip with the tackle in chipping, that creates a problem. Because if he's further away, he chips him. I got to try to reset as a tackle. So sometimes helping hurts in those situations. The doc talked about it, and you and I talked about it a while ago on that situation. So we won't give Campbell too much crap, but we're going to go to break. But last thing I'll say, GOAT mode. Listen, players with 200 plus passing yards and 100 plus quarterback rating in 7 straight games. Yeah. Manning, Brady, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers twice. Okay. And now Drake Maye. Every one of those guys won the MVP that year. Just some food.
Oh, interesting little tidbit. A fact there, Joe.
Just a little food for thought. This portion of Weekly Rewind was presented by the Pats Nation Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Hey, tomorrow we're going to have our first look at the Atlanta Falcons, so make sure you're tuning in for all the pregame discussion and breakdown. But we come back, going to continue in Weekly Rewind, talk a little defense, a little coaching, no flipping.
Sundays are for football, and here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Yeah, young quarterback, great running back. We knew they were going to try to get to the run game early and often. And I'm just so proud of how our defense plays, our defensive line in particular. Durden, Barmore, Milton, Tonga. These guys are eating double teams, ripping off blocks, making tackles. And when they do that, it really puts a lot of ease on my job being a second-level player. And I'm just really proud of how they continue to grind out the run game and get the run stopped. We have a room full of guys that view themselves as impact players, view themselves as game-changing players, and that's where it starts. If you don't believe that you're going to be a game-changing player, you never will be. So we have a room full of guys that want to go out there, make plays, want to help this team win. And we're just going to continue to come together, mesh together, and try to be the best defense we could be.
That, of course, was Robert Spillane post-game talking about his defense, and I would say this was probably his best game. Wouldn't you say? He had
a good game. He had a pick.
14 tackles, 5 solo. He had that one pick, that one at 2 tackles for losses. He had a good game. And it wasn't until, because once again, it started slow. Again.
Yeah. First drive again. What is that about the first drive, Chris? Why is that happening?
I don't know.
And Cleveland's offense stinks.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at it and say, well,
you're a defensive coordinator. You're a defensive guy. You've ran defenses. What is that?
Because it looks like preparedness, where we have to see what they're doing and now we'll adjust and then make corrections and changes and things like that.
Yeah, but do you really
as if the game
on the Vrabel?
I don't know. I don't know if not having Terrell Williams is hurting in the game plan, in preparing during the week. With breaking down the film and coming up with a solid plan to say, okay, if we're gonna, you remember how Belichick to beat this team, we have to take this away. We have to do this. We have to do this. We have to do this. And then they put it in. Now, I'm sure they're doing that, but maybe it's hampered a bit because every single week they're allowing teams to come down the field with relative ease. And then they clamp down. And so I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. That's the only thing I can think of. But they certainly turned it back around once they allowed that. And then from there, it was, Cleveland was 2 of 11 on third down. They were 1 of 3 on
They were
fourth
going
down.
to gimmick plays, Chris, early.
Yeah.
Going to gimmick plays. Like they knew they couldn't move the ball.
Right. I mean, the total yards allowed was 213 yards. Good. I mean, good game. Now, they didn't have the sacks. Okay.
Now,
and so
Chris, I'm interested I would have been interested to see if Cleveland could have ran the ball against us with Judkins. Judkins went out early in that game, Chris, with an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they weren't able to really run the ball.
No, but like I said, he went out early. I was interested because I think Judkins is a good running back. I wanted to see if he could run the ball against us, but he got hurt. I don't know. Interesting.
I was about to ask you next. Are we ready to say that this is the best defense against the run in the league?
Well, statistically, they are, aren't they? Or that?
I know.
3.
But you start to look at who they've played and who the backs are.
I'll tell you what. You'll find out this week.
Oh, yeah. With
Brian Robinson, Bijan Robinson, you'll find out this week. With Bijan Robinson, you'll find out this week.
So why can't they get? So, I mean, look, the middle of the field played a lot better. For as much crap as I gave them, if I give them every damn week, and I still think it's an issue. I still think that the backers are an issue. I still think the safeties are an issue. Okay. But they certainly played well this week.
They did. And I'm going to tell you something, Chris. They made an adjustment. And I don't know if you could see it because I know the broadcast of the game, it's terrible. They don't show you anything. They don't show you replays, But when Fannin, the tight end, on that opening drive scores the touchdown.
Yeah.
And that was like his second reception on that drive where he was wide open. After that, Chris, anytime Fannin went out wide, a corner was on him. A lot of times it was Carlton Davis. But a corner would pick him up. It wasn't a linebacker. So, and even if he was in motion, a lot of times when he came off and tried to go to the middle of the field, there was a corner on him.
Yeah.
That was a defensive adjustment. And
it was, and you're right. It did help. It made the middle of the field play look a lot better. It made Spillane look a lot better. I mean, Fannin still had 6 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. So I mean,
he did.
But
Chris, like 30 of those yards, I think, or 35 of those yards were on the opening drive.
You're right, and that adjustment did help. And that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Still, because there are going to be weeks where
and I know he hasn't reached his potential, but you know who the tight end is this week?
Yeah, Pitts.
All right.
And tomorrow on the Pats Nation, we're gonna discuss that. Mark, why can't they get to the quarterback with these 4 guys? Why can't they get? They had 1 sack in this game. Why can't they get pressure with 4? What the hell is happening?
Well, I don't know. The edge, Chris. The edge guys, Landry and Chazon has played okay. I think the edge guys, Chris, are a big disappointment. I think you and I think a lot of the experts expect
could do better.
Our edge guys to be better, and they're not.
You and I could do better. We could,
They're
you and I could put the pads on, and we could.
Okay. Keep fooling yourself with that, bro.
We should raise some money for that.
Yeah.
And they watch that. And
as long as you have the cardiac unit on the sidelines waiting for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just traded Keon White, so he's gone.
You know what? You had to bring him up, didn't you? You shouldn't have brought him up because on draft night, Joe, I went ballistic that they took him. I went ballistic.
And I wasn't all that upset about the pick.
No, you liked the pick. There were receivers. You just liked any time Belichick took defense. You liked Gonzalez over Smith-Njigba,
who played excellent, who had an unbelievable game, by the way.
He did, and Jackson
quietly.
Smith, I know. Jackson Smith-Njigba is leading the league.
All right. How long are you going to say that? This is like 2007. You're going to torture me for the rest of my life.
It was 3 years ago.
No, I mean, it's like 2007 where you're going to torture me for the rest of my
goddamn
life.
If I was going to torture you the rest of your life, I would tell you were jumping up and down when they took Harry.
I was not. You know, every week, every year, every week, Joe, it gets more. Like, all I said was, well, you know, he's
even
okay.
Even your son said to you, well, Dad, he is right. You did like the Harry pick. He even told you.
You're a jerk. So
you're serving layups over here. This kid's taking him yard. That's what's happening.
But listen, Keon White, Chris, what a disappointment, though, really. I never liked him. I didn't like him when he was drafted. But a lot of people, I'm busting your beans, but a lot of experts, Chris, thought he was going to develop into like a real top defensive end, and he just didn't develop at all. And I don't get that. Chris, he's got every athletic trait you would want for an edge guy, supposedly.
So, okay.
That was a big hurt on them, Chris. They expected him to produce this year.
Yeah, it was a big hurt.
Gave them
they're
nothing.
just not
Gave them
getting,
nothing.
you know, they're just not getting the production out of the floor that they wanted to get. I know Bondmore is, you know, whatever went on with Bondmore where he got benched for that first quarter. Something happened in practice, obviously, or something happened during the week, whenever it happened, that was not what did Vrabel say? Not commiserate with the whatever. I got the soundbite, but we don't need to. So,
but Chris, I don't know if Bondmore's 100. I mean, I don't even know if he's fully back to himself either from that injury.
Well, they're going to have to solve this issue because at some point you're going to have to get there with 4. You can't expect pressure every single time. Now, you got the corners to do it. And I think a lot of the problem too, Mark, is, and Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal, he talked about this a little bit too, but some of the problem is the scheme that they run. This was a team in Tennessee that ran this, that when Vrabel was there, that ran it with zone a lot. They didn't have lockdown corners. They didn't have corners like we have where they can play man coverage, they can lock it down. And how do you work with your front 4 with that, you know? And how do you – this is different. So it's as if they're having a lot of trouble meshing those two ideas together.
But, Chris, if you got 2 lockdown corners, wouldn't that conceivably make it simpler and easier for you to create pressure?
I mean, it should, but not with just 4. You know,
but I'm thinking it should allow you to bring some pressure packages if you got 2 shutdown corners.
Well, that's a different story, though. I mean, if you're bringing pressure packages, you're blitzing, you're bringing extra guys. You know, but just lining up and running.
And with 2 shutdown corners, Chris, you should be able to do that.
Well, they are doing that, and they have done that, and they have blitzed, and they've been successful doing it. But my problem is they got to get better at being able to get there with just the 4, and they haven't been. And they're playing against a lot of crap offenses and crap quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So you play the better ones. You know, you better fix that. Last thing I want to talk about before we get to Catone's comments. Okay. For those of you who think, hey, you know, watch this game with Cleveland and you know, what a second half the team had, and you know, they're kicking on all cylinders. Yeah, that's not the case. It just isn't. So when I look at this result, 32-13, they won by 20 points, roughly. Okay, Mark, they were 3 of 11 on third down.
Yeah,
as you said, 2 for 6 in the red zone. They're the worst defense in football for red zone offense. You get in the red zone against them, you score against the Patriots. They allowed 6 sacks. They shanked the punt. They had an onside kick recovered, which, what? The defense gave up an opening drive touchdown again, and they still won by 20.
And, Chris, if you take their ranking for returns, kickoff returns, their return game, they're like 29th in the league.
Right.
Every other team that is a playoff contender at this point, they're like top 15 in the league, top 10 in the league in return yards. We're not even close to that either.
No. So what is he doing? What is the magic Vrabel is spinning over here to have that kind of stat line that I just gave, and you still win a game by 20 points? Is it the coaching? Is it the buy-in?
So I think it's a little of that, but I'm going to throw this out there again, Chris. Are these pundits right that say, well, yeah, they're winning because their schedule's horrific?
Well, that's true. That has to be true.
Is that it?
It is, but
is that part of it?
But they weren't winning these games last year against the crap teams.
No, they weren't. They weren't. We were losing.
And not only are they're not just winning these games, though. They're beating the hell out of these teams.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a Super Bowl contending team. I don't put them in the Philadelphia Eagles class and the Kansas City and the Buffalo. I don't put them in that class right now because they have the only team they've beaten is Buffalo so far. Yeah. So I don't do that. I don't know if you do, but I'm just trying to figure out, is it just as simple as Vrabel said from the beginning? We want to be able to take advantage of bad football. We're going to start there.
Well, Chris, if you
they've done that.
Chris, if you remember correctly, remember the Tennessee team that came in here? I think it was Brady's last game at
19
Gillette, right?
Yeah, 2019.
They came in here and beat us in the playoffs. Didn't that Tennessee team go to the AFC Championship?
Did that
or did they get beat in the division round by Kansas City? But anyway, that particular team, Chris, when you looked at that team, he had a couple of guys that were okay. He had Henry, obviously, but he had some guys on defense. But, Chris, they won. Drake Maye's a hell of a lot better quarterback than he had. He had Tannehill on that team, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have anything special, Chris. They just did all the little things right. They played together. That team won games and went to the playoffs and won games in the playoffs.
So, it was. They did go. They got beat by the Chiefs 35-24.
But that team, Chris, was not a Super Bowl contending team.
No.
And they, by no means, when you go back, but he got them all the way to the championship game.
So, it's what we're seeing here.
Maybe it is things that he's doing, Chris. Not, you know what I mean? He's doing things and motivating and pressing the right buttons and
look.
And
Mark,
you know what I mean? Because he did it with that Tennessee team. That Tennessee team, Chris, had no business being in the AFC Championship game.
Mark, he benched Barmore. Okay, and Barmore can be that kind of a pill, you know?
Yeah, he can be. That was the knock on him coming out of college.
And he benched Barmore, and at the end of that game, those two were hugging. So whatever he's doing, you know, we talked about that a week ago. You know, when you show these guys love, when they know you love them on and off the field, you can get away with a lot. You can do a lot. You can push them a lot.
And today, this week, Chris, on one of these shows I was listening to, David Andrews, obviously Patriot, retired, he said that Vrabel and May have now built this team into a destination for free agents. What Vrabel's doing, and we brought this up 3 weeks ago, you and I, what Vrabel's doing with these players and the culture and the buy-in and the fact that Drake Maye now appears to be one of those guys.
The play caller.
Now you have now, if it's the offseason and DK Metcalf's going to get traded, DK Metcalf says, I'd like to go to New England.
Right.
Or Debo Samuel says, oh, no, I'd like to go to New England, play with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a method to his madness. It's working. What they're doing is working. Can't control the schedule. They can just play the schedule, and they're playing the hell out of that schedule. So we'll see what happens next week. And tomorrow on the Pat Station, we'll talk about that, about the Atlanta game coming up. But Weekly Rewind was presented by Corso Law Group, corsolawgroup.com. We come back. Are you ready to go? Mark's ready to go. I don't even
I'm ready.
Catone's comments is next.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help.
Time for Catone's comment!
So, if anybody listens to, which I hope a ton of you are listening to us on Corso, when we do Pat's Nation, at the end of every Pat's Nation, we do a segment where we pick, we try to make you a little bit of money, and we pick the Patriot game, but then we pick games from around the league and give us you our best bets and all of this. And people are doing that all over the internet now. They're doing it on all these podcasts and all these shows. And, you watch these pregame shows on Saturdays, college football. They're picking the teams, right? And all, on college game day. Yeah, it's college game day and all that stuff. Okay, but listen. But my point is, so this past week, they had in the NBA. So you had guys arrested. You get Chauncey Billups arrested. You get you get Terry arrested, right? Played for the Celtics. No, I'm sorry, I said Terry Rozier, right? Rozier.
Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier. So, and then you had other guys allegedly were involved, and then you had the mob was involved, but then they also said that they were having these high stake poker games, and they were using these X-ray machines. They could see through cards. I don't know what the hell they were doing, right? But the poker games aside, that's a separate thing. Okay, that's been going on since the end of time. But the gambling situation with Billups, the coach, and Rozier, do you honestly think that those are the only two guys? That's it? If they really want to open up Pandora's box, do you think Ohtani's interpreter, whoever the hell that guy was, who took the rap for him and went to jail, do you honestly think Ohtani wasn't gambling? And that guy took the rap because Ohtani's got $1 billion contract, and when he gets out, that guy's set for the rest of his life? You really think Ohtani knew nothing about that? Come on, you're fooling yourself if you're that naive. Okay, so listen, what Rozier was doing, they were going in. There was one bet. It was like $1 million that he would play only. He would, score X number of points and play less than X number of minutes. It was a prop bet, and he went out. He said he pulled his hamstring. He had the points, and then he went out and said he pulled his hamstring and got under the minutes. So all these guys got handlers, agents, whatever you want to call them, personal assistants. You don't think that these guys are on these betting apps, DraftKings and all this stuff, and they're placing bets, prop bets, and that the player doesn't know it? You don't think the players are doing it? Maybe they're not. Okay, maybe they're not doing it on the NBA, but they're doing it on the NFL. They're gambling. These guys are all gambling. And yes, I'm sure they're betting on the NBA. Maybe they're not betting on themselves. I don't know. But they're all doing it. Listen, this is what happened. You legalize these sports betting apps. Everybody's got them. How do you regulate that? What did you think was going to happen? Shit, but they're all sponsoring the leagues. You put on, an NFL game. They got commercials, right? They've all got these commercials, these betting apps. They're all sponsors and all this other stuff. Everybody's in bed together making money. College sports.
Except me.
It's going to be, well, except you. College sports, it's going to be rampant. These kids all got NIL money. Okay? You think Keyshawn Booty, when he was LSU, they said he made $900,000 worth of bets, but it was underage betting because he wasn't old enough to make those bets at LSU, but he was doing it on some app. That was before NIL money. Where the hell did a kid like that get that kind of money or make that kind of money from? Boosters. He was probably betting for the team. You don't think these kids are all gambling? Come on. I mean, it's you're naive. If you listen, it's a cultural thing. It's cultural. This is what this has become now. It's 2025. This is the nature of sports. It's gambling. It's betting. You don't have to go to Atlantic City or Vegas. You could sit on your couch, pour a bourbon, open up a bag of potato chips, and you can do anything you want. You can bet anything you want. So these guys get arrested, and everyone's like, oh, my God, they're making such a big deal out of it. Are you kidding me? You have to figure out you're either going to let it go or you're going to have to put some regulations in, something more than what you got, because it's like baseball with the steroids. Like that's a farce. Those guys are in the Hall of Fame. They're all doing it now. They all know what level you have to be at. As long as you're under it, they baseball closes their eyes. They don't care anymore. But those guys aren't in the Hall of Fame. The gambling's the same thing. You're going to have to figure some balance out because they're all doing it. Chris, when I heard that this week, I'm like, are these guys a bunch of goddamn hypocrites? Okay, these guys get arrested. I get it. But you could have arrested 200 guys probably, Chris.
Yeah, and what's going to end up happening is they're going to make a deal. Like, the NBA is not going to go down for this. They're not going to allow you to go and look at LeBron James and guys that they're all doing it. They're not going to allow that. They're not going to allow their big time guys to go down.
Allegedly, one of LeBron James's friends was giving out injury information.
Yeah, like
without LeBron's knowledge.
Listen, there's no way the leagues with the billions in dollars that are flowing through, okay, are going to allow themselves to go down to any administration. I don't care what side you lean. It doesn't make a difference. They'll make a deal. They'll make a deal with the government, and there'll be money exchange. There'll be they'll donate to get. There's no chance that any of these people see any type of big time penalties over this. This will get swept under the rug because a deal will be made because there's too much money involved. Okay. And Mark, listen, these kids, you people out there have to understand. I know for a fact, firsthand, okay, an NHL hockey team, okay, then I ain't going to say who, and I'm not going to say a real successful one, okay, of recent years, okay. I know for 1,000% fact that these kids were playing poker, gambling, millions of dollars are being throughout a season just between the players themselves, gambling with each other, just poker stuff, sports, anything, everything.
You know how long the poker's been going on? You ever heard the stories of Michael Jordan, the high-stakes poker games in the hotel rooms when they were on the road?
These kids, and I asked the question, too. I'm like, geez, I said, why, isn't there something better? They're like, well, because we have nothing else to do. We work, we're with each other all the time. We're working out together all the time. We're doing this. This is 8 months out of the, they have more money than they could possibly know what to do with.
Yeah.
Or figure out what to do with. And so they gamble. It's what they do. And then that trickles into the handlers and the people. Hey, how's that feeling? Oh, okay. It's all dirty. It's all of it's dirty.
Think about when you were 24, 25 years old. If you were a professional athlete with millions, making millions of dollars,
I'd be in jail. I'd be in prison still. If it were me, I'd be gambling on everything. Are you kidding me? I'd never throw a game. Never do that. I never what?
No, you were a competitor. That you would never do.
No, but I would figure out a way to gamble. Absolutely.
Right.
I wouldn't cheat, but I would gamble. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. So Mark, it's a great point. I mean, then the people out there that are outraged.
People are outraged. Are you kidding me? Really?
This is just
bring it up.
These are just two little peas in the huge pod. You know what I mean? Of what's happening. So it's good stuff. So we'll pay attention to see what happens. But I guarantee you, this whole NBA thing, give it a little time, you won't hear anything else. It'll disappear. Because we'll
have to pay attention.
So Catone's comments was presented by the Pats Nation. Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tune in tomorrow morning. We're going to have all our breakdown of this Atlanta Falcons game, which I think is going to be a test for the New England Patriots. And so we'll break that down. So make sure you tune into that. But we come back, go to talk Bruins, Celtics, B's and C's is next.
Sundays are for football. And here in New England, that means it's the Pats Nation with Corso and Catone. Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. All right, let's talk Bruins. Let's talk Celtics. Joe.
Hit it! The Boston Celtics are the world champions, and they have shown the world how great a ball club they really are.
Screen shot, for the Bruins win!
So every time I'm ready to just say, okay, just throw the dirt over the Boston Bruins. Just, they win a game. They'll win a game.
But that's going to be all year, Chris.
This is the softest team.
They're not going to make they're not making the playoffs, Chris.
No, I don't think so either.
I'll be shocked if they make the playoffs.
Look, the problem that you have with this team, okay, to me, they're soft. I say they're a soft team, and what I mean by that is from how they were built. You build this team to us as if they were going to be the tough, physical, defensive-minded team, keep the puck out of the net, keep the players away from the goal, out from in front of the net, make it real tough to get in their zone and do anything, bog all that down, low-scoring games. Have you seen any of that?
No. Well, Chris, because we talked about this a little bit last week at the end of the show.
Well, we tried to, and then you said, I don't want to talk about the
I
Bruins.
didn't want to talk about the Bruins anymore. I wanted to get into the Celtics because Joe Mazzulla pissed me off last week with his comments. But Chris, they don't have the talent. We talked about it. Yes, that might be the style that they want to play, and they figure that's the only way we can win. But they don't even have the players, Chris. They don't have the horses to even play that style. They're currently tied for last place in the Atlantic Division. They're going to remain pretty much hover around there, Chris, all year. You watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
the style of hockey you just described, tell me who on that team is going to play it at a high enough level for them to win.
Well, it certainly isn't guys like Mason Lohrei.
No.
No, I don't know. I mean, they're allowing goals, 5 goals, 7 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals.
And they're going to start now. The goalie platoon, I'm assuming, is going to have to stop.
Look, you paid this guy all this money.
What are you doing with him?
I think he's a stiff anyway, but you paid him
all this
money.
You're going to have to ride with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he's not playing more games. I don't know what this platoon is. And I think the coach is over his head, too, in this.
Well, you had mentioned that, Chris, when they hired that guy. You said, Mark, I don't know what they think he's doing.
Do you know in the last 2 years, this team has allowed more goals than any other team in the league other than San Jose, Chicago, and Buffalo. And those teams suck.
Those teams don't have an $8 or $9 million goaltender sitting there either, Chris.
So the calling card is supposed to be not allowing goals? Yeah. So, and the other problem with it is, if you're a team that wants to see the problem in hockey, and I've been listening to this all week, and the one thing I will give Mike Felger credit for, 98.5, he knows hockey. He understands hockey.
No, he does know hockey.
And, he said it too. It's you can't tank. Hockey's different. Basically, what it means is you're going to suck for like 5 years. You're going to suck for like 7 years before you start to get good again. So that means we won't bother with this team, Joe. We're not going to cover this team for about 7 years. Take them off
But Chris, the other piece of that, to add to what you just said and to build on what Felger said, all those years, Chris, that you stayed competitive to make the run because you thought you could squeeze 1 or 2 more Stanley Cups out of that team and you didn't get any. You gave up either young prospects or you gave up draft picks to bring in veterans that you thought could squeeze that 1 more cup for you. And it didn't. But now you lost either real young prospects who could develop into something, or you lost the draft picks. So now they unloaded guys last year, Chris, to try to get draft picks in return because they know they're going to replenish. But in order to replenish and in order for those guys to develop, to your point, Chris, it's going to take you 3, 4, 5 years now to have another team because you can't rebuild as quickly as
well, that's how it is in hockey. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're screwed. So now you're going to have to say, okay, maybe in 2028, 29, we'll have a team that can contend for a Stanley Cup. But it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while. So sit tight, Bruins fans. Sit tight. We'll still talk about them. This
team is nowhere near a contending team. Nowhere near it.
No, it's tough to watch too. I mean, I like the wins here. It's just like they'll play good. They'll all of a sudden they'll come out of the gate shitty, and then give up goals, and all of a sudden they fight back. But no sooner do they fight back, 30 seconds later, they're putting one in the net, the other team, to take the lead again. And it's just kind of like, I don't know what their calling card's going to be. And then there's these guys.
I mean, no one's happy, but we have an understanding. We've gone through a lot of change, and that takes time, and you got to be patient. And the habits and the disciplines, just because we brought back 5-6 guys, the habits and the disciplines of what you've done in the past don't carry over, and that's not guaranteed. And so we have to redevelop those, and then obviously redevelop the identity of some of the new guys and with the way we're playing. So I would say, I don't know the right term for it. No one's happy, but we have an understanding, but we put our head down and just keep getting better. We guys got to put our head down, look up a month from now, see where we're at.
We should keep our head down and have an understanding.
That, of course, was Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Boston Celtics.
He's starting to aggravate you more and more, Chris. Hello?
What's he talking about? I thought that this was going to be, I've listened to these guys. 41.5 was the over-under for wins this year. And I listened to everybody tell me that the East sucks, okay? The East stinks. You're still one of the top 4 teams in the East, even without the other guys that you shipped away.
Yeah, it's not true.
And Jason Tatum. And the talent level, that really doesn't make a difference. Jaylen Brown's good enough. He's a top 10, 15 guy in the league, which, by the way, I don't agree with, and we're going to talk about that now. And I thought that's what I was listening to. For everybody who's saying that, well, so it's not going to matter. They're still going to finish 4th.
No.
What?
Chris, here's my fear. They really need to probably get into the lottery. Maybe you get lucky like Dallas did. You get a number 1 or 2 pick in the draft. But they could conceivably, Chris, get into the play-in round where, those teams at the bottom, like, was it 9-10, whatever it is? Like, they may end up around there. They're not one of the top 4 or 5 teams in this conference, and they're not going to finish there, Chris. I don't want to see Tatum. Tatum said, we're contending. I can come back. He thinks he can come back early. I don't want him to come back. Take care of that. Rest. Because if he comes back too soon and does it again like Durant did, your career is finished. You'll never have that speed again. You'll never have that burst. Take care of it the right way. Chalk this season up. And I don't know what Mazzulla's talking about. Well, we're going to see what we got. We're going to see. Have you looked at the roster, Chris? They don't have a whole hell of a lot.
Well, so that's what I want to ask you. Is it the roster or is it? But is it the roster? Is it a coaching issue or is it a roster issue?
I think it's more of a roster issue.
Okay.
No,
because when you say that,
I don't agree with his philosophy. You know that. So right. I will say, I don't agree with his philosophy. I don't think you can win championships consistently with his philosophy of coaching. However, I do think you have a talent player problem in this team.
Okay, so when you say that, people in the media in New England, in Boston, are saying that's a cop-out, okay?
Well, let's go through the roster.
You're blaming the roster, and you shouldn't blame that. That's giving the coach an out.
Well, Crystal, look at the roster. Listen, you can't.
I agree with you. I think the roster sucks.
You can't. What's the old adage? You can't make chicken out of chicken.
You can't polish a sneaker. You used to say.
I used to say that you can't polish a sneaker. That was my favorite line. But listen, Chris, let's look at the roster. Okay, you got Jaylen Brown. I know you want to talk about him, but other than Jaylen Brown, what do you have anybody in the front? Do you have one front court player? Name me one guy in the front court that's got anything. They're nothing.
Not the Cater.
Nothing. They got
possibly
nobody.
Be somebody. Something.
They got not one front court player that you could even mention. How are you winning in this league? You got Jaylen Brown.
Derek White and Peyton Pritchard?
Peyton Pritchard, Chris, is a sixth man. He's not a star.
Yes,
Peyton Pritchard's getting his ass handed to him, trying to go up against top-level talent nightly. Listen, he's a great player off the bench. He gives you what you need, but not what they're asking him to do. That's not him. It's not him.
So, okay. It's all right. So let's talk about the superstar they have. Because if you listen to guys like Felger and those guys, they say, hey, look, I mean, all you need is a superstar guy. You need an all-star player, a couple of Derek White's a fringe all-star guy, And Jaylen Brown certainly is. He's an all-NBA guy.
Simon, Chris, is going to give you 20 points off the bench almost every night, maybe.
So you're hearing, well, if you got those guys in the NBA, you should win. It should be no issue about winning in the NBA if you got guys like that. Here's the problem. And I listened to Jaylen Brown in the offseason pumping himself up, talking about what a kind of a star he is. I know we're over. What kind of a star he is. But then now the games begin, and this is what I hear, Mark.
4 All-Stars last season between Al, Drew, Kristaps, and then JT being out. Well, Luke's an all-star to me. Luke's an all-star in all of our hearts. You know what I mean? But we lost some big-time players. We didn't lose one guy. We lost 5. So to replace those guys does not happen overnight. I've said that. And it doesn't happen in a week either. So we gotta build some chemistry. We gotta, build some identity and adopt a new style of play. But I believe in this group.
Mark, listen to me now, okay? This kid is riding the tails and has ridden the tails of Jason Tatum. End of story. This guy is not a 1. He's not going to make the All-Star team this year, and he's not going to be All-NBA. Because on his own, he can't get it done. I don't want to hear any more about Jaylen Brown. I don't want to hear it. Okay? He's poor at handling the ball. He's poor at facilitating. Yes, he can lift up and make shots at times, but he's not clutch. He's not going to carry this team, Mark.
All right.
You think he is? Do you think he is?
No, I don't. I never thought he was the 1. I always said that. But no. So, I agree with that. I agree with that synopsis, Chris.
All right,
listen, it's a talent issue right now. Yeah, coaching, yes. You could say Mazzulla's not the right guy either as well.
He's so full of crap. They're still taking 53 3-pointers. I mean,
All right. I think, yeah. That's
okay, we're going to go now, but over on this 41.5. Under? What do they win? How many games do they win this year? They're 1-3, so we're still in it. We can make that prediction.
Under.
Yeah, I got them at like 38 wins.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was going to say 39. Yeah, 38, 39. That's where I'm at.
So I got them under 2. So good. Corso and Catone was presented by the Pats Nation. No, it's not good, but, it is what it is. Presented by the Pats Nation, Sundays, 8 a.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, we're going to have a full pregame breakdown of the Falcons game, Sunday spread. We're going to make you some money. Come back to this show next week. Going to have more talk, Patriots talk. We'll break down that Falcons game, post-game, and anything you bring to the table, we will be ready. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.
Now find Corso Catone on AM 790, The Score, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you podcast. Or subscribe to the YouTube channel and catch the chaos every Saturday at noon.